In life, being released is a gateway to a new beginning. So in bowling, it's a gateway to either a good shot or a bad shot. So in this video, we'll learn about why it's so vital that you continue to work on your release and how you can get better going forward. So let's get into it. All right, so welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're going to be learning about the release and why it's so important to your game. And so we're going to start out with a couple of points here. And the first point I have for you is the more under the ball you are at the release, the more revolutions the ball will have. So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures at the end of the video, and that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So whenever you're releasing the ball, the more under it you are, the more revolutions you're going to have. So I remember Belmonte was talking about it one time on one of his videos, where if you think about it like the Earth, and it's a cylinder, or like a sphere, a sphere shape. So you think about the Earth. If you grab it at the very bottom and then you turn it, then eventually you'll turn it all the way forward. But if you're here, you're going to have less of a turn. So the farther up you are, the less revolutions you're going to have. The farther under you are, the more time it takes for your fingers to come out of the ball. So the more revolutions you're going to have. So the second point, the more inside you are equals more rotation. So I believe we talked about this in the last video, because that brings me to my third point. The more outside you are equals less rotation. So the more inside the ball you are, I'll come over here, the more inside the ball you are here, the more rotation you're going to have going forward. The more outside the ball you are here, the less rotation you're going to have, and the less reaction down lane you're going to have. So if I can get a bowling ball here and show you again and go over it one more time in this video like I did in the last video, I think that'll help you going forward. All right, so I have my ball here. This is my spare ball. So the more inside you are this way, so if I can show you this way right here, the more inside you are whenever you bring it back, the more inside this way you are, the more rotation you're going to have going this way. The more outside you are right here on the outside of the ball, the less rotation you're going to have. And so you'll see that with a lot of one-handers, and I'm going to show you that in this video, of at the point of release, the one-handers are going to be more over here or more right here. The two-handers are going to be more behind it, or maybe a little inside, or maybe just a tad outside. And so that's why two-handers get more rotation and also more revs on the ball, because one, they're farther under the ball, but two are also farther inside the ball, which creates all that power down lane, if that makes any sense. So now we're going to look at some pictures of the PBA professionals today and see about where they are at the point of release and how inside the ball they are, or how outside the ball they are. And like I said, one thing you'll notice is the one-handers are a lot different than the two-handers. So let's go ahead and look at that. So this is the first one I have for you. I'm going to have two of Belmonte. This will show you a slight difference of where he may release the ball. And like I say, it all depends on what type of rotation that they want on the ball. Will depend on what type of release they have. So in this one here, he has, let's see if I can circle it here. So he has his hand right on, it's not more up the back, it's more on the outside of the ball, which will create less rotation going forward. But in this next one, it's going to be slightly different. So it's going to be a little bit more on the outside there. So from this one compared to the last one, if we can go back to the last one, you'll see a clear difference. So he's a little bit more inside here than he is on this one. This one, he's more on the outside of it, which will get some more side rotation instead of being more inside, where it's more end over end where he was at the point of release there. So this is Jesper Svensson, and as you can see how far under the ball that he is, which is why he has probably the highest rev rate on tour, close to Belmo. So you see how far under it he is here. I mean, that is, let's go back here. That is extremely under the earth there. This is, I mean, that is right underneath the ball. So that's what creates all those revs, is because his hand is so far under it. So by the time he gets it out, he's already creating almost a full rotation by the time that he releases the ball. So that tells you exactly what the ball is going to do down lane, because he's also coming almost straight up the back of it, which is a more end over end roll, which will be a much straighter motion down lane. So it's kind of like right in between where you get inside the ball and outside the ball. It's like right in the middle. All right, so this is Anthony Simonsen. Anthony Simonsen, he has a really nice release, probably one of the better ones on tour, because he's very smooth with it. But you see where his hand is. It is extremely inside the ball, which is why he gets so much rotation on it, because whenever he comes through, it's coming through exactly like this. So whenever he's bringing it back, he's here, and then he just rotates through. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so now we're getting into the one-handers here. So this is Pete Weber. And as you can see how much different it is from the two-handers to the one-handers. And you see how far outside his hand is compared to the two-handers. Because the two-handers would be here. But the one-handers most of the time are here. So you see how different that is, which is why they have less revs on the ball, and also less hook down lane, less rotation, because their hand at the point of release is on the outside of the ball, so which will create more side spin. This is Parker Bohn, and again, from the left side, it's the same thing. So now we were looking at the two-handers. For you left-handers at home, it's the same thing for you. It's just the opposite way. So for Parker Bohn, it's the same thing. He is extremely on the outside of the ball at the point of release. So whenever he releases it, that's why he doesn't have much revs down lane. But he's also able to be very consistent with that release. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. All right, so this is E.J. Tackett. And as you all know at home, E.J. Tackett is one of the better bowlers on tour right now. And as you can see, he is probably one of the very few one-handers that's able to get to where the two-handers are. But even with his release here, it's not quite where the two-handers would be. Two-handers would be more slightly over this way. But where he is, he's more over here. So you can just tell, though, by him being able to get that far over, allows him to create more revs than most one-handers. And it creates more rotation down, more hook down lane. So hopefully you got something out of this video. So just to recap, the more inside you are, the more rotation you're going to have. The more outside you are, the less rotation you're going to have, the more side spin you'll have down lane, which will create less hook, and you'll perceive it as less power. The more under it you are, the more revolutions you're going to have. The more up the back of it you are, the more on the back of the ball you are at the point of release, the less revolutions you're going to have. So hopefully that helps you going forward. And if you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and subscribe to my channel. And in the next video, we'll learn about the follow through and how important that is to your game. So we'll see you there. Thank you.